for the state of the manosphere, what's going on,
Sure.
and what we can do to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly speaking, from the actual point of view of the viewers here, what is the definition of the manosphere, you would say, currently?
It's evolved so much. Like, it wasn't even called the manosphere when I started, actually.
What was it called?
I don't know. It was like
Forums?
it was more like, it was the forum days. So I started really moderating a forum called So Suave back in the mid 2000s, like right around 2004-ish. I laugh when people go, well, Rollo didn't invent the red pill or anything like that. Like, people don't understand, like, the term red pill has been around since they were watching Fairly Odd Parents and, Jimmy Neutron, right? I mean, I went to the SOSWAP forums, and I actually looked up my earliest post where I used the term red pill, and it was December of 2004.
Well, shoot.
Yeah, so it's been around a lot longer than most people really want to accept, right? Because I think people think that the red pill or the manosphere begins and ends with, like, Andrew Tate, you guys, and Pearl. I think that's all they know, and it's only been around for, like, 4 years as far as they're concerned.
I think we made it more mainstream, so to speak.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely brought it to light, for sure. And I said this on the show when we had Mike on with us. There's that one clip of me and you guys. I think it was in the very earliest days. I think it was March of 2021, and I think it was like the second or third time I've been on the show. And
you said it.
I had more subs than you did at that time.
It's true.
It didn't last long, but I did. You guys asked me. You said, "Is the manosphere's a red pill going to go mainstream?" And my words were, "I hope not."
No.
I didn't say they wouldn't. I just said I hope not, because what I see happening, what I predicted was going to happen then, and really what's happening right now, is that it's sort of been appropriated by people who have no real business being in this space to begin with. So, like, I was watching whatever podcast about a day ago, and Andrew Wilson was on there, and he was debating this guy. I have no idea who the guy was. I have never seen the guy in my life, but his whole Christian duty in life was to, like, lead people away from the red pill. And I'm like, does this guy even know what the red pill is? No, I didn't even know if that, like, for me, I'm at the point right now where I'm not offended by people who want to fight the red pill or turn it into a straw man so they can knock it down, because I'm at the point where all I want to do is I want to know what their background is. Do you even know what you're talking about? Because most of the time they don't. They think that the red pill, like I said, begins and ends with Andrew Tate and Pearl and that kind of stuff, and they have no real background or real history in the red pill or the manosphere or we call it male self-improvement space. We call it, like, right now, the red pill could be political, it could be social, it could be religious, and that's exactly what I was saying in March of 2021, because the same thing had happened in the previous election cycle. I saw all these people coming into the space, and they would use the red pill, hashtag red pill, as their own little personal brand to represent whatever their pet ideology happened to be. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but, like, if you go back and you look at, like, Candace Owens's Twitter handle back in the day, it used to be Red Pill Black. Before it was Candace Owens, yes. Because they would take the red pill and apply it to the alt-right, or they would apply it to conservative politics, or they would apply it to whatever social, sort of impetus that they happen to be behind. Because to them, the red pill was just like, well, you used to believe one thing, and now you believe something else, right? And it's like, no, that's not where it came from. And I know, because I was back in the day in 2004 when we started using the term, the red pill from the Matrix. We used to use the term Matrix and stuff like that because it was just an allegory that was applicable at that time. And I remember back in 2010, 2012, people would they would hate us because they would think that the red pill and the Matrix was cringe.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who's using that? Well, blue pill, red pill, what is this? The Matrix? And people thought it was like they would shit all over it because they thought it was corny back then. Now nobody thinks it's corny. Now it's like the red pill is whatever it is to,
everybody.
Yeah, to everybody. So right now it's like, it's almost me. I don't know what else to call what you and I do and what Myron does and what, like some of the other guys that I know from, like Rich Cooper and Ryan Stone and the rest of these guys who have been in the space for a long time. It's like, we don't know what else to call it. There's no other real definition that really sort of serves a purpose. So we just call it whatever, red pill, and that's it.
I see it as a place where a man can go to for help and some guidance, and also learn from themselves how to become a better man. But I think people have taken it for granted and said, you know what, I can use this, I want to say, these people or this genre to boost my own audience to kind of just gain favor, but never really a part of it. Just came to
they turned it into a personal brand.
Yeah,
that's why. And it's not that I'm not my own personal brand. I am, but in its purest form, the red pill is a praxeology, meaning that it is the science or the study of human behavior, in that it has a purpose. There's a function. There's a latent purpose for why we do what we do. And I apply that in the red pill. I apply that as the praxeology of intersexual dynamics. So if people ask me for like the elevator pitch, or like, well, what is the red pill in 5 minutes, right? I'll just say it's the praxeology of intersexual dynamics, and that's a mouthful for them. Like, they want a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with all of this, is it's not a bumper sticker. It's like a college major is what it is. Because you think about all of you just watch Access Vegas, and me and Mike we were doing it here on the show, even like Mike and I, and we have to catch ourselves doing this. We will bounce ideas off of each other all the time. That's why we work so great, is he's into the same kind of, like, he reads the same stuff that I do. And we don't agree on everything, but like we challenge each other so we can come to a better consensus about stuff. But when we do that on the show, on Access Vegas, that doesn't make for the best show.
Yeah.
It's good if like I'm sitting across from him and we're having this sort of meeting of the minds, but that's going to attract a different audience than it is for, we're going to sit around, the girls look bored and they're on their phones and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to re-engage the girls, and so you got to make it something topical, and then but like if it just left to our own devices, me and Mike would just be talking about like think about all the things that are involved in the red pill. As far as intersexual dynamics is concerned, there's anthropology, sociology, evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology, political science. There's so many like sub areas or sub genres, or and I'm not an expert in like 90% of these things, right? I have to be endocrinology, neurology. I got to know how the brain works. I got to know how your hormones work. Because if I don't, there's some smart son of a bitch that's in the forum somewhere. Well, he didn't know that progesterone interacts with estradiol, and because I'm not an endocrinologist, but like, can you at least follow my logic? And I will get. I think there's what we're asking me about, like the manosphere and the red pill, where I think it's going. There's a growing set of influencers or brand, personal brand guys that have made it sort of their personal branding to find some way to sort of bring down the red pill.
Yeah.
Right. And so
monetary gain.
Whether they have any like prior knowledge is sort of irrelevant, right? Because they know that they're going to have a preset audience for them that's already waiting to fuck those guys, tell me why we should hate them.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time it's guys who will take something outrageous they heard, or maybe it's something they saw in the chat, right? They'll say it'll be like all bitches should be flown to the moon, or some shit like that. All women need to be put into hijabs or something, like something outrageous, right? And then they'll go on. Then some random dude will go on whatever podcast or somewhere else, and they'll go, "You guys always say that women should be flown to the moon," and I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? And it's some random comment or some clip that they heard on TikTok or a YouTube short, and they'll go, that's those red pill guys.
They're alphas. No, they will say we're
those alpha male podcasts.
Yeah.
That's what they're.
Who says that?
This is an alpha male. Welcome to the alpha male podcast.
I don't know. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know one person that has said, "I'm an alpha male. Look at me." Who does that? Nobody.
Yeah, I've never, outside of being facetious with myself or being self-deprecating, have ever called myself like an alpha, right? I've jokingly referred to myself as a lesser alpha, but people don't know where that joke came from because it was so long ago. There's a blogger named Royce who used to have this. He used to have this personality test. Personality test.
Heartiste.
And Heartiste. Yeah, well, it became Heartiste later on, and he used to have this kind of semi-joking questionnaire. And if you answered the questions right, you were either like a lesser beta, a greater beta, somewhere in between. And I took it one time just for shits and giggles, and I came out as a lesser alpha, so I started calling myself a lesser alpha. They go, he called himself a lesser alpha. He's not alpha. He doesn't look like me. He doesn't smell like me. He doesn't dress like me. And it's whatever. Whenever you talk about alpha, like
it triggers people.
People, like, if you say this guy's beta, no problem. Nobody has a clue. Everybody knows what beta looks like. Everybody knows that guy's a loser. Yeah, he's real beta. But you go and you say you're an alpha.
Oh, they want to
and you're not. And you're not Orthodox Christian, or you're not Catholic, or you're not this or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you aren't. Or your body fat percentage is at like 10%. Yeah. Or like if you don't have some sort of like hyper masculinized personality or characteristics or physical characteristics, then there'll be 10 or 12 other guys in the chat that'll just pile on too, because you don't look like them, you don't do what they say, you don't believe what they say, and you're never going to win. But I've always thought it was an interesting kind of social experiment to sort of look through some of the comments or look through some of the chats and stuff like that and see like what people will do when you give them data or you give them facts and you don't tell them how to feel about it. Because if you don't, they will infer what your meaning is, or they'll just simply hate you for it. Just how it works.
That's powerful. By the way, shout out to Jake the Mullet for gifting 5 subs. Shout out to your brother. Again, guys, I'm doing Natural Subathon next Friday. We're going to have the speech therapist give me a session. And you know what's funny about this, man? You're going to see me live on air get speech lessons. So next Friday, be here, don't be square.
You want me to tell you something funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't say I'm going to do this yet, but I've been considering shaving my head.
What?
Yeah, I've been considering shaving my head. Now, the reason why I talked to my buddy Joe Marin, he says, we have to do it live. We would have to go, you'd have to go to a barber, and we'd have to do it on a live stream or something like that.
Now, bring the barber to you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Bring him in the studio and do it right there. And the reason I would do that is because I want people to know that I actually do have hair, and I'm now shaving. I wasn't bald before, and now I'm going to shave it off because I was looking at like maybe doing the Jason Statham thing.
Can we address the rolls on these like roids or whatever? Because people, you got in shape, right? And I'm like, congrats. At your age, you're in good shape. They're like, oh, he's on steroids. Bro, can you tell them real quick what
he's on here? No, I about a year and a half ago, I finally took Mike Sartain's advice and started doing TRT, right? Now, I've been talking about TRT since like the Rich Cooper days, because Rich was on TRT long before anybody else was, and he was a big advocate of it. And I never really thought of it, I needed it or really cared too much about it, because I was doing pretty good. In fact, I was just barely below enough in my serum testosterone to actually even qualify for was Ageless Male. Shout out to Ageless Male. You guys are the ones that gave me the gains. And then, so I started doing it, and I remember when I started doing it, I think it was 8 weeks in or 10 weeks in, and you don't feel different until you've been on it for a while. You get to the 10-week mark or the 12-week mark, the colors in your world change. And it's not just about, it's not like a steroid, it's testosterone cypionate. It's not like it's not like some high, it's not T-Pro, it's not Dianabol, it's not Primobolan or anything like that. But if you have been low and suddenly you're back to normal, you're like, I want to fuck everything in this room. I want to go do stuff, and Mike got it right. It makes effort feel good. And so I was at the point, you got to remember when I started it, I was already a year into Access Vegas. And so here I have been doing and making trips from Reno all the way down to Las Vegas and back for every show that we did. I was telling you before the show, I had to get a car because I was spending a small fortune on Uber. I ended up getting a rental place, and essentially living in Vegas. So that's why I ended up moving to Vegas, right? But it was at that point where I realized I am surrounded by beautiful women all the time. Just the nature of the show. After we would do shows, we go to Zouk, we go to Omnia, we go to Hakkasan. You're the one that taught me this, is that you need to have an Instagram presence because people like to see your lifestyle.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking about this and I'm going, I just jumped into, escalated the game, right? I'm not in Reno anymore. I'm in Las Vegas now, and I have to maintain an appearance. And it was at that time I started going to Powerhouse Gym in Las Vegas. So now I'm on TRT. I start working out with Hide Yamagishi, who is the IFBB Pro.
Legend.
IFBB Pro champion from 2023. And Iris Kyle is the co-owner. And she is 10 times Miss Olympia. Thank you very much. The only one to ever do it 10 times. And then people who already know one of my workout friends, partners, whatever, Alvaro Pena, who is also a competitive fitness bodybuilder. And so I'm working out with them all the time, and effort feels good, right? And I'm never missing a workout. And I decided, when we talk about money, muscles, and game, I'm like, I'm going to focus on muscles for a while and see how this works out, right? And I put on, I had to get refitted for a suit at Jackson Maximus recently. And the guy's like, man, you got 16-inch guns. And I was like, because he had the old measurements from when he did my first suit, and I had to have alterations done to my suit. And that my chest is wider, my shoulder, my boulder shoulders, shoulders are my favorite thing to work out. So I do that. But Powerhouse Gym is just, it was a game changer for me. And I think a lot of people think that even if you're doing gear, even if you're doing trend, man, you still have to work out. Yeah. and muscles don't just magically jump on your body, man. You actually have to make effort, and you have to be disciplined, nutrition, everything else.
Is TRT considered a steroid or no? TRT?
TRT is not considered a steroid, although I'm sure some people in the chat are going to say it is. Because it's testosterone cypionate. It's not like testosterone propionate. It's not like T-Pro. It's not like Masterone or anything like that.
Okay.
If you were going to call it a steroid, it would be the lowest grade steroid that there is.
Okay.
It's so low you can get it without a prescription. So
there you go.
That should tell you something.
All right, guys. Now you know what he's really on.
You actually have to work out, though. You have to and that's what I did. Was I got my shit together. So you want to know why the new book is not ready yet? That's why. Because I've been focusing on something else. Right?
Yeah, I think for most people, though, once you pass like 35 plus, you're gonna probably want to get on that, because the water we drink, the food we eat, it's all full of like a bunch of bad stuff for us anyway. Regarding lower test scores.
I forget the guy's name. Ed was saying the older you get, or the older you get, the more being in shape is a flex, and it's true.
That is facts. I will say though, clothes fit you better too as well once you get in shape. So you can wear anything once you're in shape.
Yeah, well, any shirt's a muscle shirt if you have muscles.
That's true.
Hide Yamagishi taught me that one. He's like, any shirt's a muscle shirt if you have muscles.
So there was an argument a couple weeks ago where the question was, is the manosphere dead? And then they brought up who killed it. And the argument was that people from within killed it. So the people that were actually part of the manosphere destroyed it inside out. What do you think about that?
I don't think the manosphere is dead. I remember, God, how many times has Chris Williamson had Destiny on his show and asked that exact same fucking question, man? Yeah. And I think it's dead. It was over. It was DOA. Blah blah. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about, because the manosphere as we know it right now has gone through so many paradigm shifts from the time. I mean, you got to remember, I've been doing this for 22, 23 years now.
You've seen it all.
I've seen it go through phases. I've seen it. It wasn't even called the manosphere when I started. We use the red pill as sort of an analogy, but I think we need to make a distinction between the manosphere and the red pill for sure. I look at it this way, like when I look at the black pill, if I look at the doomers and I look at MGTOW, if I look at the white pill, if I look at some of these more sort of moralistic guys who kind of pick and pull parts of the red pill that they like, and then they go, well, I don't like this part of the red. Remember when Andrew Tate was at his peak, even Patrick Bet-David and the rest of these guys who were his biggest fans, they didn't accept him wholesale, right? They didn't accept the whole thing, right? They're like, I like what he has to say about being on point, and all the stuff that aligned with their brand. They will pull that and they will keep that. But anything that was off-brand, they were just ignoring it, or they didn't want to attack it, but they would just ignore it. They wouldn't pull that. So it's what I call pick and pull red pill, right? Same thing goes for sort of this moralistic group. That's the moralists right now. They're really happy when something that the red pill observes aligns with like patriarchy, right? Or it aligns with something they read in the Bible or something they read in the Quran, right? Or something, whatever. If it lines up with their religious beliefs or if it lines up with their political beliefs, that's we're going to pull that and we're going to pull that and keep that, right? If it doesn't, then we're either going to ignore it or we're going to say, well, we were never really fully, we were red pill adjacent. We were never really on board with any of that, right? And so what that says to me is they were just more about their own brand than they were about the red pill. And so the thing about the red pill is it's not one size fits all. Okay, so these guys either take it or you leave it. Like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to rub your noses in, intersexual dynamics. And if you can accept that, fine. If you can't accept that, I'm at least telling you the truth, And so I think that it's not dead per se. I just think that it's going through a shift right now. And the reason it's going through such sort of this paradigm shift, I guess, is because what's happening is the parts of the red pill that were working for these guys is not paying off as well as shitting on the red pill as the parts that didn't. And so now what you see is these guys shifting over towards the negative side of things. And so now what do they do? They build up straw men about the red pill. You guys always say this. You guys say that. I'm like, no, we don't. Like, who are you talking about? Like, that's the one. If I have
call names.
Yeah, I was going to say
please
exactly.
Please call names.
That's the first thing I do whenever I see this, and especially on Twitter right now. It's this new sort of I guess a revenue model, or it's this new sort of profit stream for people to not respond to anything. Like Twitter, to me anyways, is a discussion platform. But if you go and you look at like the accounts of like Jordan Peterson or Chris Williamson or some of these other like bigger names, they'll throw like quick hit drive-by tweets out there, and you'll go, fuck you, have you ever thought about this? Who are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. Crickets. There's no reply whatsoever. It's dead ass silence. And the reason for that is because they're not doing those tweets. They have a PR team that's doing those tweets. They don't run their Twitter. They don't have time. Chris Williamson does not have time to run his Twitter account to the point where he could have any kind of substantive conversation on Twitter. It's not going to happen. So I've just pretty much given up on that, because I'll get people who will send me they'll link me something that somebody said, like maybe it's like the guy at Date Psych, or it's Mac and Murphy, or it's Will Costello or something like that. All they built brands just basically off of trying to find some way to straw man the red pill and then knock it down. Yeah. And then I go and respond, and it's dead ass silence. And there's nothing to be said, because they're not there for any kind of conversation. They're just there to build a brand based on shitting on the red pill. So if there's I think that's one of the reasons why people think it's dead. It's not dead. It's just that there's no conversation that's being had. I had, I mentioned before how Andrew Wilson was talking with this one guy just like 2 days ago on Whatever Podcast. I had Brian from Whatever Podcast hit me up this morning, actually, and asked me if I wanted to come on and debate this guy. And I go, well, it's not going to be much of a debate, because I'm just going to tell him what it's about and tell him where he's wrong. And there's not going to be much of a conversation there, because the guy simply lacks the experience to have a substantive debate about any of this stuff. Because all he's going to say is, you guys always say this, you guys always say that. And you're never going to get past that, because what they're describing, what these guys who shit on the manosphere are describing, is practices, not the praxeology. So when I talk about MGTOW, black pill, white pill, moral pill, gold pill, shit pill, I don't know. God pill, whatever it is. When I talk about those things, those are all practices that draw from the red pill. So when people say, oh, Rollo's really going black pill these days, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm red pill, and I'm just telling you like it is. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just observing the facts, presenting you as facts, and allowing you as a critical thinking, intelligent human being to draw your own fucking conclusions. Yeah. These guys' conclusions is, oh, well, I guess we better just give up. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. I'm out. Bye. Right? Or else it might be, yeah, you know what we need to do? We need to looks max. You get these looks max. For all the people who are looks maxers, I'd be like, how come you're not in the gym, man? How come you're not a personal trainer? How come you're not on trend? How come you're not, like, if it's all about looks, how come you're not taking that as your best practice? and turning it in, leveraging it to your best advantage. And that's really what the white pill does. That's what MGTOW does. That's what black pill. Those are practices. It's people who've taken the information that the red pill presents to them, and they say, this is what we should do with this. So when people attack the red pill, they're not attacking the red pill. They're attacking these people who says this is the best practice.
Can we also talk about like what's happening currently in the news cycle? We're seeing more and more people getting lied about, allegations from women. And we've been saying this for years that, listen, guys, it's a dog-eat-dog world out here. It's not safe if you're not RP aware, because what's happening is there's a shift in the marketplace and women are having more control and more power. So now we're seeing in real time celebrities that are up there getting destroyed by women every single day. Shannon Sharp, to name a few.
Oh, God. Me and Mike did a whole episode.
Yeah. And then obviously there's Chris Brown too as well from back in the day. There's Soulja Boy. We can go on for like a whole episode, but the point is that like this is happening. People can see it now for the first time. Actually happened in a multitude of
Jonah Hill.
examples.
Jonah Hill was one of those guys as well. Yeah.
So I guess when people see that, do they still think people should actually like, okay, you know what? I'm seeing it now in real time. I should learn, or should I just like kind of like stay away all the way because it's a bad thing for society?
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Like so, like should she just like put a wall between you and all of that rather than just sort of like try to play the game better, right? Yeah, I get what you're saying. No, we've talked about that. Again, this is all best practices now. So I can, of all those names, what name is not on that list? Rollo Tomasi, who's been a part of this for a long time. You've not seen me in any kind of scandal. No SA
Even
charges.
me, I've been in the scandal.
And no baby traps.
What's that to me?
No thirst traps. Rollo's really boring. Yeah, well, sorry. That's just how it is. I've been married for coming up on 29 years now.
You have a good life, man.
I'll tell you what's funny is like, I can remember when I would get run off the flagpole because they say, Rollo Tomasi don't get no hose, man. And I'm like, show me some hose that Rollo Tomasi had.
Guys, I can say right now,
those were receipts back then.
If Rollo was single, he'd be tearing the city up.
Trust me.
But as a faithful, God-fearing man,
yes,
he is faithful
father
to the T, and a father.
Yes.
I'm not gonna hold you, Rollo.
Just like you, Fresh.
Hold on. If I was him in Vegas, bro, I'd be going bonkers, bro. Like keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? I love the snow. Yeah. But again, props to you for being faithful all these years.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's funny is like prior to where we're at right now. I guess again, it just depends on who you're talking to. I remember when people would give me shit about like, oh, Rollo hasn't seen a new pussy in a long time, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay. So that's receipts to you. Like, would you have more respect for me? Like, if I was out, like, you know what? I'm sorry, dear. I'm gonna have to divorce you because these guys, these random motherfuckers on chat, they're gonna love me that much more if I just go out and fuck random hoes, right? Yeah. So those are receipts. And then if you go and you talk to sort of like the moralistic crowd, it's like I'm the most conservative dude they know because I have been faithful to my wife. I've been married for 29 years, and so now those are receipts. To be faithful to your wife and to have like a good family and to have but I don't have enough kids, so I only had one. I guess I only get like 10 daddy cool points instead of like, what do you get?
You can't win, bro.
10 per child, I think is how it is. Yeah.
You can't be married. You're red pill.
Yeah.
You can't be red pill. You're married.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That was the first thing you ever did, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was funny. No, but like so receipts now. I think, I don't know, it depends on who you ask. Receipts right now is living a good life with a wife and a family and being on your game. Whereas before it was, you're not fucking random hoes. What's your body count? Because if your body count isn't in the triple digits, then you don't have any receipts. I'm like, so where, bro? I feel like Jackie Chan, on that meme.
Jackie! Yeah. Ah! So, it's funny? Back then especially, I used to show a lot of receipts, right? Mm-hmm. Not all, of course, but just like some. Just to sprinkle in there, hey, we're still here, we're dating, we're in the marketplace, making it happen. However, you know what happened to my audience and channel? Mm-hmm. They'll go to the girl's page, look at their parents, brothers, uncles, and some of them are weird because they're like kind of like not racist, but they're kind of like race dependent. Where, for example, they'll say, "Oh, well, I'm white. He's smashing white girls, so I'm gonna tell on him." So they're telling the parents like, "Oh, why is she smashing this black guy?" And I'm like, "You guys are weird, bro." And then it became like an obsession between, "Oh, who's he smashing now? Is there a sex tape?" I'm like, "You guys are weird, bro." So receipts is one thing, but I feel like it never really gave them enough because they always wanted more. And it's like, they were like, wait, did you go all the way? Yes, nigga, I went all the way. She's still here, bro. Shut up. But the point is that, like, receipts, bro.
She's cleaning up right now.
Yeah. This is a thing in the past. Even, dude, one stream, bro. Go on my channel. I was doing it on the balcony. And they were like, no, he didn't do it. Yeah, I did. But it's never enough because with receipts, they always want more. Never enough.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to the alpha thing. If he's not doing what I want him to do, he's not alpha, and I shouldn't follow him.
And then I remember
he's too old. I shouldn't follow him, right? It's like, well, what do you want? Do you want like information?
Exactly.
What do you want?
And then the issue was, he's not getting them by game. He must be paying. I'm like, bro, you don't think by now, after all those examples, they would have one that said, you know what? Yeah, he paid me. Where? There's none.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, having this type of like audience, this type of like, I want to say genre, they want to see you follow through line by line everything. But you can't always do that because it's your life.
Yeah.
And you show too much, it's curtains.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a price that comes with that, because I remember like when you and when I first met you, it was like in January. I personally met you in January 2021, and you're actually responsible for me like starting my Instagram page,
the brand,
my
man.
Instagram going, because he's like, people want to see what you're doing every day, and they want to see, and all this stuff, and I'm like, do they? And they do, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And so like I'm posting stuff up. There's definitely a difference between posting on Twitter and posting on Instagram. Because Twitter has been my ride for a long, long time. And whenever I put, like, I'm posting pictures. I caught a sailfish, by the way, on my fishing chart. It was the first time I ever caught a sailfish in my life. It was like knock it off my bucket list. I go and I put pictures or video on Instagram, and people are like, hey man, right on, God, that's great,
awesome,
great
bro.
stuff. You put it on fucking Twitter, like,
that's all you caught?
That's all you caught?
You're lame, bro.
It's only an 8-foot sailfish. I got a 12-foot one. It's like,
yeah, Twitter is full of hate, bro.
Well, I forget who. Actually, I think it was my wife who said this. She said, if you like something on Twitter, people hate you for it.
Yeah.
But if you love something on Twitter, they will hate you for it. But if you hate something, they will love you for it, because it's like, oh, one of us. He hates these people. He hates that thing. He's one of ours, right?
Yeah.
And then if you like something, and God forbid it's a movie, and God forbid it's like any kind of pop culture or something like that, people will say you're gay, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're a tourist, you're casual, whatever. I don't know what the terms are right now. You're corny, you're cringe.
Yeah.
Cringe. Cringe. You know what's cringe? The word cringe. It literally is cringe right now.
Stupid.
Yeah. Can we come up with some? I'm waiting for us to come up with something new. No, but like there's a definite qualitative difference between Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
And then but my point was this is, and I brought this up not on your show, but on a few other shows. Do you remember last time I was here last year, and we were actually taking Hero out to the dog park.
Yes.
And we were in your Audi.
R8.
In your Audi. And you're like, hey, I need to take a picture of you because we got to put it on the thumbnail because all my pictures were old. And so I'm like there. I'm just like this on the back of the Audi. And I thought it was a pretty cool picture, right? Cool. And so I posted it, and I posted it on. This was, by the way, I hate to say, this is both Instagram and Twitter. I realize I have gotten to the point where I cannot post any picture without people thinking it's a flex. They think that I am like, oh look, that's his car that he bought with all of his ill-gotten gains from his book that he's trying to trick all these incels into thinking they have a chance with girls, And I mean, they're writing doctoral theses about how I'm scamming people because of this one picture on the back of your Audi, and people think it's like my car. And like, okay, how many times have I posted pictures of my Camaro and you think this is my car?
Okay, you know what's funny about that? I'll never forget this, right? We did the podcast. It's going pretty well. And it was all love.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I posted McLaren, it was like,
oh my God.
It was like, hold on. Oh shit. This thing got a McLaren? Oh, they're making money now.
Yeah.
Oh, hell. Bro, and that's the hate train came in full effect.
And you know what? If memory serves, you got that in July or August of 2021.
Yes.
Right? What happened in August of 2021? That's when Abba and Preach came at you.
Yeah.
Yep. Right after that fucking
so
picture.
It's funny.
Man.
Like, it's funny because I got a friend, Batman Cable, right? He shows lifestyle to a different level. It's like, a dream. And he told me, and it's true, the moment you post yourself doing well, it's like you're inviting the evil eye, the hate to come on you. Yes. And it's funny. Notice these guys that hate on us, they don't show any wealth.
No.
But hold on, but they have it though.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, so you're playing good at two shoes. Like, oh, I don't have anything, but you really do have a lot of stuff. You just don't show it.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that like having things that people don't have, you just bring about hate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a level of like hate in our own industry where like guys will see others doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why is he doing better than me? He has a book. Why don't I have a book? And it's like, wait a minute. Are you putting in the work?
Mm-hmm.
Are you actually networking, making connections, and doing things correctly? No. That's why you're still where you're at. Versus having an actual good message for your audience, having them to improve and move forward. But my thing is like, that right there is a downfall because us as men, we hit on each other in our own industry.
We're always competitive. We will.
Yeah.
Men, even the best of friends, even if it's a friendly rivalry, it's still a rivalry.
But hold on,
There'll
I can
always
compete
be
with you.
Yeah.
But I don't have to hate you. Like
No,
okay.
not at all. I hope you.
But no,
I hope you do compete with me.
But they hate
Makes me
you.
better. Yeah.
But they hate you. Though. It's like a deep hatred. Like, why him, not me?
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, let's say Rollo's in shape, right? I'm 32. He is
57.
57. I can be hating right now. Damn, he's got muscle. I don't. But to be honest with you, I don't work out that much, and I don't eat that well. I am changing now, of course, but it's still going up. But I can say, you know what? Damn, I need to do better and focus. Versus say, hey, this nigga, bro, fuck.
You come to Las
old white man
come to Las Vegas,
taking steroids,
work at a powerhouse gym. I guarantee you, you will change your body.
but the point is, I took that approach to you, and I said, you know what? Positively, I'm going to say, all right, he's doing well. I'm going to take some tips from him and learn to improve my life. Versus saying, oh, I hate this nigga. Da, da, da. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
I know you now, but like, it's like, so to me, it's how we approach it as creators. And we kind of say, all right, well, he has a larger audience. I'm going to attack him. Or he has, I don't know, a show with girls every night. Let's attack him.
Right.
But it's never like, okay, I could learn, maybe collab with people and improve the whole brand itself. It's more like, the whole industry. It's more like, I see him doing well. I want to take him down.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that, like, Rich Cooper has this saying, like, hate only comes from below, right? Which I think it's a pretty good rule. Generally, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Generally, I think that's true. But hate comes from above sometimes when they see you coming up in the rearview mirror. When they see you, like, you're getting pretty close. It's like that old lion who is, like, the king of the pride.
Yeah.
And there's a younger lion that's coming up in the rearview mirror, and he's not from below. He's from like right here with you, and you got to do something and that keeps us better. The competition, whether even it's friendly rivalry and friendly competition, it still makes us better as guys. It does. Right? And it's not like I hate you or something like that, but it's like I don't have a Rolls Royce Phantom or whatever it is you used to. I don't even know what you're driving right now.
A couple.
But like when you guys went from I remember when you guys made the shift from 80,000 subs to 100,000. You got that plaque right there. Yeah. And I got my plaque a month later on the show. As a matter of fact. Yeah. And
Dog Marco for you, brother.
And so I thought that was pretty cool because you guys had hit it. And then I helped Adam Sosnick get up to 100K. I helped Jedi Avila get up to 100K.
Actually, you did.
I like to think I helped Mike get up past. I think he's at 100K right now.
You did.
Just by being there and helping and lifting everybody up. I'm doing that just because I'm there for the conversation. I'm learning. Even people who like have very like low sub accounts and I'll still go on your show because if I feel like I can learn something from you, I'm still going to do that. And that learning from you is me taking something from you. It's still competition, but I'm not being a dick about it. I'm not trying to crush your life or destroy you as a human being. I'm just saying, what can I learn from this guy? What can I take away from this experience? And that's kind of a low key, low energy version of like, competition. And there's really nothing wrong with that. It only becomes like, problematic, I guess, when the jealousy gets or envy starts to get involved, when you get emotional about it.
Yeah.
You can be detached from the emotionality of competition. Like if I am competing with somebody, like I used to be a professional competition fencer. I don't hate the guy that's across the strip from me. I'm just like, if he's better than me, then he whips my ass. That's fine. But I learned something from that experience, and I'm going to come back and try to do better on the next round, right? The other thing I think is kind of like ludicrous is when people say, well, don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Fuck that.
No.
You don't do that. Nobody does that. If I walk into Powerhouse Gym and I see the rest of these guys and I go, I want to look like that. Like they ask me this. They go, what are your fitness goals? I'm like, I want to look like that motherfucker right over there. No, are you training for a master's competition or something? No, I want to look like that dude right there. Or I want to be in good shapes because I am a co-host of Access Vegas, and I have to be at least somewhat, semi in shape and at a certain body fat percentage to be taken seriously in this environment, in this theater, right? I want to look good at a Wet Republic bikini contest. I want to look good with my shirt off. Those are things. But like, I'm not saying I want to be able to beat this guy. I'm never going to beat Hida Yamagishi in an IFBB Pro competition. I know that. But just to take that information from somebody, like even if you get personal training and stuff like that, you're basically taking what they know and using it for your own. If you're smart, you're using it for your own advantage. You're leveraging that. So
and you're curving the learning curve for yourself because now it's shorter.
By the way, everybody compares themselves to other people.
100%.
There's no getting around that. It's just human nature. It's the way we evolved. It's the way we're built. And I think the more we embrace that, the healthier you're going to end up being. Because you can take that to a unhealthy extreme, obviously, but you need to have something to compare yourself to rather than just like what you used to be. Because if you're a fat ass and you're like slightly less of a fat ass and you feel good about that, well, the moment you can look in the mirror and be happy with what you see, you're sunk. You have to, like, the human condition is defined by discontent, not content. You'll never be happy. You can do things that make you happy, but you will never actually be happy because we would stagnate. We would be homogenous at that point. And it's a good thing that we're discontent because that's what makes us grow.
Good point. So
I did not answer your question. Your question was about like these guys that are getting allegations, and stuff. And I think that you can take accusations. You could take what you know of the red pill and apply that to best practices. I'm not saying that the red pill shouldn't be used for practices. I'm just saying the red pill in and of itself is a praxeology. What you do with that, like my job isn't to make men better men. It's to equip and educate men so that they can be better men on their own. Like I said, it's not one size fits all. That's how you get like 12 rules for life and here's 7 hot tips to get chicks, right? That's bullshit. I want you guys to be able to take the information of the red pill, which is very comprehensive, take that and apply it to your life and save your life with it and change your life with it. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not a formula because I'm a white 57-year-old dude and you're a black 32-year-old man. We come from, you're from Barbados. My background's from Denmark, whatever.
Bomboka!
Yes.
Close enough.
Yeah. So, and let's be honest. You've had a problem stuttering and stuff like that too. Okay. Yeah. I have never had to worry about that, but your experience is different than mine. You coming to America, your experience is different. I've always been in America. I'm some dumb white kid from Huntington Beach, right? So my experience is going to be different from you, but you can still take the information that the red pill has, you've used it quite successfily.
Yeah.
And I've got guys in my Reignite program right now who are like saying, "Hey man, you really saved my life. Thank you for doing that." And I'll ask them, how did that happen? And because I want to see the work, I want to see what they did with the information and the equipment that I gave them, and how it improved their life. So like guys who want to avoid, allegations and stuff like that, that's all in the red pill. You can figure that out with the information. If you know female nature, you can avoid that. If you know how women's psyche works, if you know that women are far more women love opportunistically and men love idealistically, if you can sort of take that and leverage that to yourself, you can protect yourself from allegations. So is there a connection between those two and the red pill? Absolutely there is. It's just you've got to figure out how to leverage it for yourself, for your individual needs.
Good point. We have any chats, fellas, or no? All right. And then we'll do the last question here. Jake the Mullet, shout out to you for the subs, bro. Jake the Mullet, shout out to you, brother. Dominicano Conio, these are truly the best episodes, real knowledge.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think back in the day, we used to do a lot
We
more.
need to do a lot more of these.
Yeah, because listen, I know the foundation is obviously the red pill dating, but we've kind of segmented to different stuff as well. But this is what the core is people want to see anyway. And of course, helps men become better.
You know, we did you were in it. You and I and Marquette and Aaron Clary and Jake Shields was in it. I'm trying to think who else was on it.
Myron
was on it. Mike was on it. And
Crypto
from Miguel. But who's the guy from No Fugazi?
I don't think
Was he on that show?
No.
Okay, anyways, it was just like us. No chicks.
Aaron Clary.
Yeah, Aaron Clary was on it. Yeah, Aaron was on it too. But anyways, we were on that one show. That was one of the best watched shows we ever had.
Yeah.
No girls.
No girls. Just guys
Just
talking.
guys talking.
Men being men.
And I was looking back at that, and like when you and I have conversations, I've been on this show with just me and Myron before, and